Hey everybody. One of the main reasons it's so hard to sit with the feeling is that, we think if we feel that feeling, then we're paying the piper. We're going to invest in the story that's behind it, and we're going to invest in that it might be true and all that, and we just don't want to give anything to it, so we hold back. That's one reason. And then the other reason is that it can feel like there's no solution to the problem that we're upset about. So we're not even going to want to feel the feelings around it because, it's like, well, there's nothing I can do about that. That's very common with grief, obviously, because there's nothing we can do about that. And so we don't feel the grief. Can't bring that relationship or that person back, so why even go there? And then, but the problem is with grief, with, when we're angry, and with fear, when we have doubt about the future, we don't know what it is we want to do because this fear is kind of taking the lead. So with those are the three main emotions that everything comes off of: fear, anger, and grief, or sadness. So there's kind of like this, this hopelessness section of something. I had this for a really long time around every single issue. Relationships, work, where I was going to live, everything had this around it, this like, I can't think past a certain point because there was this limitation that I had on myself that I couldn't get through. When we don't feel like we could do anything about that situation, we're not going to want to sit with discomfort. It's like, why bother doing that? So that can be a real block against ourselves. The other thing is that the feelings can be so strong that we don't want to go into them. A lot of times we're afraid of the feeling itself. Subconsciously, there's this feeling that like all hell will break loose and there will be no coming back. Another one is, if I go into my feelings, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to get so stuck in rage or fear or loneliness, and I won't be able to come back, or something very bad will happen to me. So those are the blocks to feeling our emotions, and they make perfect sense. These are really good reasons to not sit with feelings. I mean, legit, right? Like, why? When you start to gain the benefit of being with your feelings, you'll start to understand that, yes, it's uncomfortable, that in the, just about when you're about to go into that feeling, it's really uncomfortable because you're on the edge. You're not all the way in it yet. You're still holding off and fearing that you don't want to pay the piper. You don't want to go and invest in that story. But the weird thing that happens is that when we go into the feeling, we validate ourselves. So we validate that there's something really deeply bothering us. We might not find the solution right then and there, but our state has changed. Our state of being has changed, and you could say that our vibration has changed. We don't have all the psychic and mental and emotional energy tied up in repressing something about ourselves. So by holding back those feelings, we don't get to learn about what we need. And that's the biggest thing. And that is, what is this feeling trying to tell us we don't like and don't want? When you really land inside that, then you're playing a different game. You're like, you've shifted onto your side. And now you don't have to be afraid of your feeling, because your feelings, now you realize that your feelings are on your side. Once you determine that, you naturally step to the next spot of, what is this feeling trying to tell me I do like and do want? So keep sitting with your feelings when they come up. When we ask ourselves the questions and do that self-inquiry, not just why do I feel this way, but what is this feeling telling me about myself that I don't like, that I believe, and that I do want, and that I wish I believed, things like this. And you really start finding out and moving yourself, your awareness to your preferences. That is when hope enters the game. And this has been the biggest shift for me. And when you can move into hope, I think that's a revolution. I feel like it's a freaking emotion revolution. You can be in a shitty feeling, and within, not too long, be feeling a little tiny bit more on your side. You get this feeling that you are worthy of having good things for yourself. That is a big deal.